Making a Milli, welcome back for another edition of Making a Milli. We got cocktails on this fine Saturday afternoon. We got our dice ready. We've got our games to stack. We're going to roll some lineups into the Milli Maker for week 4. But before that, we got to get into week 3 recap of Making a Milli. So let's go ahead and start at the bottom. We'll start at the top, but we're going to start at the bottom, as in our lineups. So, Eric, you didn't do it last week. You're coming in third, and Paul second, and me first. So we're going to do things a little different this week. We're actually going to have the first person roll who finished the best last week in the Milli, and that was me. But I'll get into my lineup before we go ahead and roll here. It was a decent week overall, but in the Milli Maker, obviously we didn't win it, or we didn't win money at all this week. So that's how that goes. But I had Kyler Murray. I scored 129 points. I did a stack, a Murray stack. That was the Arizona and Jacksonville game. So I basically went Kyler Murray, Rondale Moore, and then I did Barkley in the Giants and Atlanta game. So I did a Barkley Pitts stack, and wasn't horrible. Barkley 21 points, but Pitts did not come through, of course, with 5 points. And then I did Jamal Williams as a one-off, 14 points. DK Metcalf, 25 points. And I ended up heavily stacked that Seattle-Minnesota game. So I got DK at 25 points, and then KJ Osborne kind of crashed my lineup with only 4 points. But Jefferson was included in that stack, and he was my best play on the slate, so 29 points. All in all, I mean, this is how it goes when you play the Milli. You know, you're hitting stacks, and you're trying for these games to go off. And when they don't, you're not going to score enough points. So 129 points is what I got, but that was good enough for first place last week.
I got 138.
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I don't think you did. Let me see. You know, it would actually work if you would respond to me when I send you something, as in I had the highest score. Remember when I said I had the highest score, and you did, and you said nothing? So you're totally like hijacking the show because you're not paying attention to when I tell you things. Let's see. Show me your lineup. Let's go over your lineup real quick.
All right. Matthew Stafford, 32 points.
Okay.
Austin Eckler, 22. DeAndre Swift, 23. Cooper Kupp, 30. Antonio Gibson, 17. They all did great. This is where I didn't do great. Rondale Moore, 2. Darnell Mooney. I had a lot of faith in this kid, and I just kind of keep wanting him to do stuff, but nothing. TJ Hawkinson seemed like the smart play. He just didn't really go off last week. And then I had the Raiders defense with 4.
Okay. So you did beat me. All right, well, I guess you're going to be rolling first, you son of a bitch.
Clickety-clank, clickety-clank.
Next week when I ask you your score, I need your lineup and I need your total score, okay, from the start, so we can be
sent that to you.
We can be prepared. You did not send me the total score, actually. I'm pretty sure you did. You did not. Well, you know, you were number 1 last week, so good for you. Eric, he did not play last week. Shame. You need to be taking a walk of shame. Taking a walk of shame on Making a Milli. Shame. All right, well, the Bills won all the bills in the Milli Maker this week. So I recap this on fantasyfootballfling.com, but I'm going to get into it right here so we can look for trends before we make our lineups. There were a lot of games to stack last week. We had game totals of 55.5, Seattle, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Los Angeles 55, Chargers and Kansas City 52, Arizona, Jacksonville at 50.5. But yeah, the crazy thing is what most people didn't expect was, you know, a game with 2 of the better defenses from Buffalo and Washington from last year to end up being, you know, one of the games that you would actually stack to take down the Milli. So basically that's what it came down to. if you knew the game script between Buffalo and Washington would produce 60 points, most people would have been all over this game looking to stack it. We just didn't think that's how it would go, but that's how it did go. Really, people would have been thinking Diggs, McLaurin, Gibson, those type of players, maybe Logan Thomas, but they didn't expect Allen, Beasley, and Emmanuel Sanders with no Diggs in there, no McLaurin, no Gibson. So this 3-player team stack was brought back with Logan Thomas for the full game stack. You had a quarterback, wide receiver, and opposing tight end. The 4-player game stack ended up producing 100.6 points. So the second stack in this lineup did include one of the 2 highest projected scoring games, and even though it fell below projections, the winner nailed it with the correct play in this game to maximize the stack between Minnesota and Seattle. So when the news of Alexander Mattison getting the nod came down on Sunday, Mattison was paired with Jefferson and Metcalf as a bring-back option on the other side. This running back, opposing wide receiver game stack produced 81.6 points. So between the 2 game stacks and 7 players, this Milli Maker winning lineup stacks produced 182 points, averaged 26 points per player, and then really just needed 2 one-offs to take down the Milli, which is exactly how it played out. So the overall lineup, we had Josh Allen, Madison, Swift, Metcalf, Beasley, Sanders, Logan Thomas, Justin Jefferson, and the Cardinals D. So roster percentage, that's something that you have to take a look at, specifically in the Milli, such a big GPP. You have to be mindful of roster percentage. So as we've seen early in the season already, the overall roster percentage has been very low. We looked at it last year in 2020. In 14 out of 16 weeks, the winning lineup was under 130%. Well, in week 2, it was only 87%. In this week 3, it was even less than that. So you had Allen at 5.5%, Alexander Mattison at 14%, Swift at 6%, Metcalf at 13%, Beasley at 3%, Sanders at 4%, and Logan Thomas at 1%. Jefferson at 6%, and then the Cardinals D being chalk D at 16%. So the overall roster percentage was 72%, keeps it very low at the start of the 2021 season. And then really I think what was impressive about this lineup is just where they found value in some of the players. So they had no players above 7,300. This was a lineup of 7,000, 3 players in the 7,000 range, 1 player in 6,000 range, and then everyone below that. So just crushed value. Metcalf 3.5x, Jefferson over 4x, Josh Allen over 5x at 7,000, Madison 4.35x, Swift 4x, Beasley 4.3x, Logan Thomas 2.8x, and then Emmanuel Sanders was the best fantasy points per dollar. He was 6.2x, as well as the Cardinals D was 6x. And then the ceiling crushed it. You look at some of these guys, they're maybe lower owned, but when you look at like Metcalf, Jefferson, Josh Allen, they have a very high ceiling. Even Sanders, for 4,200, he's had many games over 25 to 30 points. So the overall ceiling of this lineup crushed it and, allowed him to score 226 points. It's funny, though. I mentioned this. I tweeted it out, and me and Paul talked about it. This was one of those weeks where the other contests, the play action, the slant, those winners, if they had entered this exact lineup into the Milli Maker, they would have taken it down. Pretty shocking. I would cry. I mean, I'd rather just.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse. You putting in $20 and coming out with a 0, or you being told that your $3 in some crap contest could have been a Milli Maker.
Yeah. That's why you got to play these games. Play them all. And it's crazy because the play action, that one has like 600,000 people in it. So that one statistically should be a lot harder to win, right? Versus the Milli Maker this week only had like 275,000 people in it. So play them all. That's what I say. Well, we're going to play again week 4. And we're ready to go. Paul, you're first. Why don't you get started?
Is it just me, or does he look like he's like an 8-bit over here?
An 8-bit?
Yeah, doesn't he look all... Look at
What?
I can barely see him.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's wearing his Curious George T-shirt over there.
Yeah.
Your quality is horrible.
All right, I got a 4.
You got a 4. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now, I should have probably mentioned this. We got the 4 game stacks. So we're looking. No, 5 game stacks. Our Fab 5, as we went over on the Fantasy Feeling podcast. So we got Arizona and Los Angeles Rams at 55, KC and Philly at 54.5, Seattle and San Francisco at 51.5, Cleveland and Minnesota at 51.5. That's the 4th one. That's what Paul got. That's the stack that he has to include in his Milli Maker lineup.
I get whatever I want.
You get 3 tries.
All
tries.
Then I'm definitely not taking that one.
Okay. So, yeah, first place. That's something new. We're different. We're doing different. First place gets 3 tries. If they don't like their first roll, they get up to 3 rolls till they get a stack that they want. And the last one we have is Carolina and Dallas, 50.5.
I'll go with this one. I'll take my 2.
You got 2. So he's got Kansas City and Philly. Eric. It's me, and then you're last.
Yep.
All right. So I only get to roll one time. He got a 2. I can't roll a 2. I just rolled a 6. And we're running on the honor system here. By the way, this is a 2. Just so you know, you can see here. I rolled a 2. Can't do that. I just rolled a 2 again. Okay. 4. Cleveland and Minnesota. Damn, I don't like that game. I don't want to play that one. Actually, there is a way. There is a way I think I can go with that one. So.
Okay, I thought you were gonna change the rule again. I thought you.
No. We're not. I'm not trying to cheat here. Okay.
Right.
And then it's your turn, Eric.
All right,
You ain't trying.
I got a 4. Oh, you got the 4. Okay, never mind. 3. Seattle, San Francisco. Don't love that either, but hey, it's all right.
Division game though.
Yep, indeed it is.
All right. Any idea who you want, Paul? Any idea?
I mean, it's going to be a Kansas City stack.
Yeah.
How I'm going to build this, I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, while we're building our lineups here, over at dfsarmy.com, looking at the DOM station, what things that I'm looking at when building a lineup, I'm looking at projected ownership. I'm looking at projections, ceiling projections, sack percentage. So go over here. First off, when I'm building a tournament lineup, you can do a lot of different things with their optimizer correlation stacks. You can do just stacking one side of a game, a team stack, or you can do a game stack. So I can put a lot of different measurables in here before I run the optimizer. But these are the things that we look at. And if you go to dfsarmy.com, use code FANTASYFLING, you get 10% off a VIP subscription. They are who I use. Mainly it's the chalk that I want to look at and their projections each and every week, and that's where they really help make the difference. Paul, have you decided who you like yet?
As far as it's most likely going to be a Mahomes Gauss stack. Although I don't know.
Okay.
I'm kind of leaning towards Tyreek. Tyreek's probably going to have Slay on him all game, huh?
They've been shifting a lot of coverage over to Tyreek, so it's a possibility. That seems to be the blueprint thus far this season, is trying to take Tyreek out of it.
Mine was pretty easy. That's
Yeah?
where I wanted to go. All right, since right now, obviously, Wilson's going to be between the two. I don't want Jimmy G. I mean, I guess he's going to be very low owned, but man, that guy, he doesn't play well in games where he's supposed to lose, so I don't know. But I'm doing DK Metcalf and then Will Dissly because Gerald Everett's out with COVID. So Will Dissly is I'm following up with a tight end.
Okay. That's a good one. I like that. Do you have your full lineup yet?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I was just making sure not too much silence on the air.
Paul, I feel like we've been giving you enough time here. You got
All right.
You got to roll this shit out. Let's go.
Hey, a little bit, man. Perfection. We're trying to win a milli here, not $7. You know.
Well, we got to get a little silly. So put out a silly lineup if you need.
Like they said, get silly, don't get stupid. So this is the lineup for this week. Gonna go Mahomes, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Corey Davis, Osborne, Sanders, Kels, Beckham, and the Seattle defense. And I'm sitting exactly at 50,000.
All right, you said Mahomes. Go ahead with that again.
Mahomes, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift.
I like that.
Corey Davis.
Okay.
Is Kendrick Osborne?
Corey Davis is an underrated play.
Yep. Emmanuel Sanders, Kels, Odell Beckham Jr., and the Seattle defense.
Sanders, Kelsey. Okay, so you got a stack in there with Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
And Sanders, and then which defense?
The Seattle defense.
Okay.
Able to pick him up at 2,400.
Man, just lost my.
Ridley. All right. I got mine. So let me know when you're ready, Eric.
Just about. So.
Okay. So I'm going to roll out with mine here. So had a lot of ways I want to go, and I'll certainly go different in some of the other tournaments like the slant and the play action. But since I got that Cleveland and Minnesota game, I had to stack it. I like Dalvin Cook in that game. And on the other side, bring it back with Odell Beckham, OBJ. So from top to bottom, though, one of the games I really like is the Dallas and Carolina game. So I'm thinking Dak could bounce back, and they'll go from a less run-heavy approach to airing it out a little more. So I like Dak stacked with Amari Cooper and bringing that back on the other side with DJ Moore. So that's going to be my main stack. So that said, I got Dak, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper in that game. A running back, Cook, as I just said, and then Trey Sermon. So the Cook stack, doing another game stack with Cook and OBJ. And then I got Trey Sermon in that Seattle and San Francisco game with Disley, assuming that Everett's still going to be out with COVID. I guess there is a possibility he can test negative twice and play. But Disley, great punt, $2,600 at the tight end position. And then I think that Washington-Atlanta game could end up being kind of a sneaky high game and could shoot out. In a lot of other games, I'm going to do like Ridley, McLaurin, Ridley, Samuel, maybe Kyle Pitts and whatnot. But in this game, basically going to run Ridley as a one-off. And then I got the Lions D. So top to bottom, I'm sorry. All right. No. Okay, I was thinking about maybe going somewhere else with another running back. But yeah, top to bottom, I got Prescott, Dalvin Cook, Trey Sermon, Odell Beckham, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Disley, Amari Cooper, and Lions D. That's going to do it for me. That's what I'm rolling with.
All right.
That's what I rolled. That's what I got.
There you go. Get some. I'm ready.
All right, Eric.
Roll,
give it to us.
All right. So it started with I rolled a 4 or 3. I got the Seattle, San Francisco, so I went Seattle. Russell Wilson and DK and Will Disley are my stack for that game. The three. I don't think Gerald Everett. I think he said he doesn't have enough time to make two, so I think he's out. But it's kind of like AB last week. But, followed up with Miles Sanders in that awful game that he had.
Yes.
Hoping he pulls through, and then DeAndre Swift because he gets like 25% of the team's targets.
It's a good play.
CD Lamb, he's not very much. From what I was looking at ownership, he's lower than I thought he would be. And Deontay Johnson, I think he's like 2% or less. Chase Claypool's out.
Yeah.
Good chance for him to have a big game. And followed up with Kareem Hunt as the flex. He's also he's low owned in that game that has a pretty high over under.
Is that a great start?
And the Vikings D. Only because any week Baker Mayfield can just shit the bed, so I'm counting on that. And it's supposed to be a high over under, so maybe the defense will figure it out. They're 2,500 though, so I didn't mention the pricing on all that. My bad. Should I go back through with the pricing?
That's all good. I mean, as long as you got everyone in there at 50,000.
Yeah, it looks looking good.
Awesome, man. You guys are over here cheating. You're making this easy. You're doing this with a computer in front of you. I just hand did my lineup. Come on now.
Yeah,
I know you're using the optimals. Well, awesome. Next week I'll be back on top. We won't have Paul derail on the show, but
I'm always going to come on and derail the show.
For sure.
That is my purpose.
Yeah.
Unless
I'm just surprised.
Next week,
I'm just surprised you don't have a cup full of whiskey.
Hey, I'll be drinking in like an hour.
Well, awesome. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Making a Milli week 4. We're going to throw our lineups in the mix, and then we will be back next week. And in fact, we'll have a full month of data to look at in the Milli Maker. Those projections as far as overall roster percentage. We will also be able to look at how many times a wide receiver has been used in the flex, overall pricing on each position, all the things. We'll take a look at it next week as we roll again. We'll see y'all week 5. Good luck, everyone.
Let's do it.
5.
Later, dude.